let's start with the hiring aspect. Where have you in the past maybe been lenient? I can give examples of that, but also where do you see leniency in others in terms of the hiring and cultivating the staff that they want to have?
So for me, the most obvious example and the greatest pressure we see to be lenient is during the high season like we're in now, and with labor. So for example, I mentioned we have 17 projects, which we have known for 8 months about these projects. So we've had some time to plan and build and do all that properly. And because we knew about them, we could line up our labor teams for the field operators. But imagine I've been the company where you've got 77 install and dismantle projects. And if you're in a town and you go, we're going to need a 100-man call, 120-man call. And you're in a town where the local union partnership might have 800 members, qualified trade show labor, and the need on the floor is for 3,500 workers that are qualified. So there's a fair amount that are going to fly in, and there's in Orlando, we're just using that as an example. You're going to fly people in. If in Las Vegas, there's a process that you can bring in people, register them at the union for the day or for whatever days they're working, and legitimize them being able to be there. But in the end, if it goes all according to plan, you need 120 people. And let's say you made your labor call and only 81 show up, and you're 39 men down. And now you start to go, hey, do you know anybody hey, is your brother back in town visiting? Hey, what does he want to make some extra money this weekend? So it goes to bring a friend to work day. Is what we call that phase. It really gets uncomfortable when it's bring a friend's Brazilian grandmother to work. She's
Oh gosh.
stable. But what happens is, this is one of the head shaking cost models. Labor companies make money based on people. And if you're losing money, and you still have to get the work done if you're 39 people down. So as long as I have people, and you don't need everybody to be a tier 1 expert. Sometimes you need a person to hold the ladder for a safety component, or to hold a 12-foot upright beam while 2 other people are up high attaching other things to that. So the skill sets can be different, but when you're just out of the labor talent, there's just none available. So that's where, we see a lot of compromise, Khalil, happen on the labor front. So that's one example. The other is you're underperforming and you're desperate for sales and you're hiring commission salespeople, and you just, you'll hire a stone cold hunter, but nobody's caring about what they say or how they represent your company, or, there's a lot of damage that can be done that way. So I think it can be really anywhere. Hey, we're going to take one of the general warehouse service technicians, and we're going to put him into graphics because he's going to help out in graphics, but he doesn't know anything about graphics. So he mistakenly might cut something, or something adhesive gets laid on a place or not in a straight line, right, where it should, and that has to be reprinted. So there's cost consequences of leniency everywhere. That's just a few things off the top of my head.
Well, I think I've kind of already given an overarching of objective, subjective, but I think what allows you to really maintain standards in your business is having really healthy margins. If you have healthy margins, then you're going to be able to make better decisions, and you're going to be able to uphold the standards that you want to uphold. But if you are barely making money, you'll make more leniency. You'll leave leniency inside of hiring and what clients you take on, all those kinds of things. But with the hiring aspect, sometimes, like you've already mentioned, people are going to hire a heartbeat. Do they have a pulse? Okay, great. Get them on the floor. But reality is, more than skill set, more than anything like that, you really want to know values. And do they fit the values of your team? Do they have the core behaviors that you're looking for in a rock star employee for your company? And it doesn't mean that they're going to have the best skill set, that they're going to know everything, but Do they exude what you want from an employee? And really, I think the first starting point for a lot of companies and wanting to improve their culture and have higher standards is setting the standards, setting the values that they want people to live by, and then
Yeah.
communicating those frequently. Don't just put up a poster of it. Show by example, right? People will follow your example. So lead by example with your values and the standards you want to uphold, but then ask people about them. Ask them what it looks like to live that value out. Ask them, you know, who's someone that lives by these values in the company that we should highlight, and then honor that person, lift them up, encourage it, spotlight them, right? That's what's going to get things carried forward and people understanding those standards. And then you can, point to those so much that now people understand we need to be living and working at this level. The next thing that I'll say is, more than you highlighting values and encouraging them and bringing them up in conversation, nothing speaks louder than your actions in terms of keeping bad employees around. I know you may need their skill set to get this project done, but you're hurting the rest of the team and, destroying culture, destroying morale by keeping a bad player on your team. And everybody knows it. Everybody recognizes that they're not holding up to the standard, that they're not someone that should belongs on the team, really. If you keep them around, you're only hurting things long term for your business and for your culture. So that's where you shouldn't be lenient. Let them go. When you know they need to go, let them go. Don't just keep them around because it makes sense for this project or whatever it is. Um,
Absolutely
yeah,
true.
I think we it all starts with your process of hiring too. Like, you should find those things in the hiring process. And if you can't find a value fit in the hiring process, then you need to update your hiring process.